So when I went through cycle certification, which I actually did 4 different times, just for the fun of it, we learn by looking at a graph which muscles in the legs are engaged at what point of the circumference as they're pushing and pulling through the pedal stroke. So for example, your iliopsoas, your hip flexors fire, your quadriceps fire when the knee extends, your anterior tibialis, the very front of your shin, that muscle flexes when you lift your toes up a little bit, and then the gastrocnemius and soleus fire when you plantar flex the ankle, when you toe down and start to pull back, and then the hamstrings fire as the knee flexes, and the glutes fire when the hip extends. So, and then that cycle repeats and repeats. And there is some overlap. So often during that circle, that circumference, that pedal stroke, multiple muscles are firing together at the same time. Now, there is a place, and it is called push point. It is, if the circle was a face of a clock, it is where 3 o'clock would be. 3 o'clock is where our energy is best applied, is best used. Our energy, our power is best applied at 3 o'clock in the pedal stroke. And that's actually counterintuitive. I kind of thought, and inherently we kind of think that it's 6 o'clock. And when we ride and we ride to the beat, we like to hit that downbeat at 6 o'clock. But in fact, pedaling is most efficient pushing through that 3 o'clock. So just to give you a crazy example of what I mean, if you were to pedal and predominantly pull back, pull back, pull back, pull back, pull back, so you're working really from 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock, like the back little quarter of the flywheel, you'd be firing your hamstrings like crazy. Would that be efficient? No. Your hamstrings would totally wear out. You would have less power. You'd be less efficient because you're not focused your energy in the right direction. So tonight, we are going to talk about hitting push point with your business. I'm going to share my screen, and this might take half a second here. Okay. So this is from Doug Moss, and some of you have seen it before, and these are not really rhetorical questions. I mean, they can kind of be rhetorical. You don't have to unmute and answer, but I certainly want you asking them of yourself right now. How many hours each day do you work on your Beachbody business? There's no right or wrong answer because we all have different goals. How many hours each day do you work on your Beachbody business? What percentage of time do you spend recruiting coaches to your team? And what percentage of time do you spend working with your team? And this is the graph that recently came out from corporate, and I just took a picture with my phone. In fact, I'd encourage you to do the same. If you have your cell phone and you haven't seen this graphic, you will want to take a picture of this screen. This is how we ought to be spending our time, whether it's an hour a day, 4 hours a day, 30 minutes a day. This is how we ought to be spending our time as a coach. So a coach should be spending 100% of their time in recruiting. A diamond, which we have a handful of them, more than a handful, 2 handfuls of them. We have 2 handfuls of them on Team Play Hard. The diamond should be spending 90% of their time recruiting. The 2 stars, 80% of their time. 5 stars, 70% of their time recruiting. 10 stars, 60, 15 star, 50. Emily was with me the first time we heard this, and it was not very long ago, and both she and I felt equally convicted that we were doing our 80-20 backwards. We were doing our 70-30 backwards. We love our teams. We love you guys. It's fun. It's fun to mentor. And we were spending our time in the reverse order, and both of us have been struggling forward in flipping that on its head. So I hope you took a picture, by the way, this was because the 15 stars all got together and said this is how they spend their time, 50-50. And why do you think coaches would spend 100% of their time recruiting? You're muted, Emily. Emily's muted.
Because they don't have a team yet to work on.
They don't have a team.
How are you supposed to work on your team if you don't have a team underneath you?
Yep. They don't have a team. So 100% of your time, if you're a new coach, 100% of your time is recruiting. You're in that phase 1. So I was going to give props to Jembers. I didn't know if she'd be on the call tonight, but she's one of these that's guilty too. She's guilty of this, doing the 80-20 inside out. And her skill set, you guys, is totally like, her skill set, like, she's going to be a phenomenal 5-star coach. Her skill set is totally naturally in team building, and less so in recruiting, and I think I'm that way as well. And so she was spending her time that way and has made an incredible turnaround in these last couple months. Also, just in some of my conversations with some of my coaches like Kristen DeVoe and Nick Felder and Julie and Chelsea, I mean, they have really flipped it, as have I, in spending our good time, our best time, our power hour in the inviting phase. So I wanted to say one more thing about that slide before I move on. One of the things that can help us leaders, and if you're a leader listening to the replay or you're a leader on the call tonight, one of the things that can help us not spend too much time in the team building phase is we really need to cut our coaches off. That sounds horrible. We need to cut the umbilical cord after 90 days. We need to mentor them, give them the best tools we have, the best training we can for 90 days. And it's not like the friendship ends then. In fact, the friendship really never stops. But the mentoring and how much time it takes, after 90 days, new coaches know what to do. They should know how to find the answers themselves. So that's a little tip for the leaders. And that's something that I was really having trouble doing. So, okay. When I don't want to do something, I clean my house. So if I need to make cold calls to a gym because I want to have an event, I will go scrub a toilet. When I needed to do payroll, which is no longer in my job description now that I've stepped back, but when I had to do payroll, I would go wash the baseboards. So in other words, I would procrastinate with something that was kind of productive. So I could justify that to myself because I was like doing something that needed to be done. So when I don't want to do inviting, and we'll talk about why we don't want to do inviting in a second, because I think it's kind of natural to want to shirk away from the inviting phase. When I don't want to do inviting, I tend to make posts that take an inordinate amount of time. I tend to tinker around in Canva. I tend to get in long boxing sessions with some of my leaders that really don't need to be having long boxing sessions with me. I tend to do personal development and business development, even though I've already spent time doing that. I tend to like look at Scotty Hobbs videos all day and trade there because he's hysterical and good looking. So those are the 10 types of business activities I tend to get distracted by instead of doing the nitty gritty, which is inviting. And we haven't even defined inviting yet, but we will. So what do you do? What do you do? What do you do what's your sparkly thing that you do instead of taking time to do a real full-blown power hour? Anyone?
I just started that I know that I would be cleaning my house because that's what I do. Just clean, and organize and clean out closets.
Completely. Okay, so I'm going to get back to some of these loose ends that I'm leaving hanging out there. why is it important to invite? And we haven't really defined what I mean by inviting it, but I will. Why develop what the business calls a pipeline? Why do you think why are some reasons that that is important? Anyone?
You got radio silence. To build your team, to build your business.
Yes, we have to build our business. And what's another reason? What's another reason you wouldn't want to just invite a bunch and then quit inviting? Julie, Tracy,
You
Carolyn.
probably have people dropping out.
Exactly. That was one of the things I was going for. Is this business isn't for everyone, and people will drop out. The other reason is it's like that water pump that you pump and pump, and it takes a long time. It takes a lot of pumping before any water flows, but if you're consistent with that action and those inviting behaviors, when the water starts coming, if you are consistent, it keeps coming, and it's actually hard to stop it at that point. And that is like consistent inviting. It's a perfect picture of consistent inviting. What's another reason that we should invite? You guys are kind of being quiet. Anyone? Oh, Dustin's in the chat bar. I always forget that he can't speak. It leaves them hanging. Yes, business building. Yes. Okay, here's one reason. Bonnie Ingle said it on the National Wake Up Call last week, or week before last. We could be keeping someone's destiny trapped in our mouth. This business could totally bless someone. That's another reason we need to keep doing it. We could bless people with it. Okay, so if I look at our team, and myself included, 70, 80, 90, and 100% of our time, that goes for everyone in Team Play Hard, we're at 70, 80, 90, and 100%, depending on your rank, of your time should be devoted towards inviting every day. So what the heck is it? Okay, imagine we have a dry erase board up right now, and I'm asking for ideas. What do you think inviting is? And don't worry about saying the wrong thing. What do you think it means? Melrose came over last week to work at my house, and she was like, this might be kind of a silly question, but what does inviting mean? And I was like, that's an awesome question, and it is really confusing. And it's not that intuitive, and it's a question I continue to ask myself. What does it mean? So I have some hard answers. Emily, go.
Well, I've been doing some work with my Team Up team, and Chris Bunker is on my team. And she was like, I didn't get inviting for the longest time. So she made up this thing, BITE, B-I-T-E. And it's, B is building a relationship with an ongoing conversation. I is inviting to try a product or group that may help them in their goals. T is thanking them for following me or posting something that inspired me, letting them know I appreciated it and it was seen. And E is engaging in a conversation for the first time with a howdy, nice to meet you. And I was like, that's so great, because it's for a lot of new coaches, when you say, all right, get out there, invite, it's like, what do you mean? Like, what am I doing? So it's such a kind of, I thought it was wonderful, and I loved it.
I got goosebumps down both arms with that whole BITE thing, and I wrote it down. That is incredible. And you know what I want you to pass along to her? Like, I seriously right now see her leading her national wake-up call for our company someday, talking about how she invented this acronym BITE. And then
I invited BITE.
BITE. That is awesome.
Can she tell us what it stands for one more time?
Yes. Let me read it in the little text.
Take notes, guys.
BITE, B-I-T-E. B, building a relationship with an ongoing conversation. I is inviting to try a product or group that may help them in their goals. T is thank them for following me or posting something that inspired me, letting them know I appreciated it and that it was seen. And E is engaging in a conversation for the first time with a howdy. Nice to meet ya.
Thank you.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Do you guys have a graphic? Do you have a graphic that goes with it?
We literally have our like group text going on, and she said that, and I was like, that's genius, because it's such a vague thing, and it means a whole host of things, but people think literally they're supposed to go in and copy a script and send a thing like, come to my challenge group starting on February 8th, which is not the case.
That was perfect. Emily, that was like the perfect segue. Okay, let's come back to that bite thing later. Okay, so for the sake of time, rather than have you guys shout out a bunch of things, I'm just going to say, in Bonnie Engel, on her national wake-up call, I don't know if you guys caught that she said one of the ways she views inviting is physically, like just keeping herself in the best shape she can for her. I thought that was an interesting way to think about inviting, and I liked it. Doesn't mean we need to be some perfect supermodel size 4. It just means that we're taking care of ourselves in the best way possible. That is a way of subtly, subliminally inviting. Inviting can be, I'm just going to say it. It can be personal. It can be impersonal. It can be icky. It can be not icky. It can be scriptish. It can be full of heart. It can be driven by love. It can be right hook. It can be jab. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, that's in reference to a book called Jab, 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 Right Hook, meaning soft sell, hard sell. It can be done on social media. It can be done on the phone. It can be done on a voice message. It can be done on e-cards, like Kara mentioned a few weeks ago on our team call, how she sends e-cards. It can be done on Instagram. There's so many different ways we can invite. So which is the right way? Which is the wrong way? And really, there's lots of different tiers, not T-E-A-R-S like crying, but tiers like levels to it. And there's timing and there's EQ. That's what I thought of when I was preparing this. And I actually looked up, I know I'm talking fast because I have like 4 more pages to get through. EQ, I looked up the definition because that's what I thought of it really takes to invite well. And the Free Dictionary on Google says it's emotional quotient. It's like IQ, but with your heart. It's a measure of a person's adequacy in such areas as self-awareness, empathy, and dealing with other people. So I wrote down these different categories. If you're taking notes, you might want to jot some of these ideas down. One way I want to invite is with my life. And what I mean is I want my life, the way I live my life, to be inviting to people. I want to be warm, happy, and kind. I mean, warm, happy, and kind. I want to be flawed, genuine, and real. Because I don't want to pretend I'm perfect, because I'm not, and that's not attractive. I want to be positive. So those are kind of the words I came up with. Warm, happy, kind, flawed, genuine, real, and positive. If I'm those things, if you're those things, is that not inviting? And I don't mean inviting to a challenge group, but I mean inviting. Is that not being an inviting person? Someone that you'd want to be around? Like, what's your secret? Okay, so one way I want to invite is with my life. The way I conduct myself with honesty, being a truth teller, being someone that doesn't gossip, you know? And then another way, and this kind of will tie in with some of the BITE acronym, connections and reconnections. Connections and reconnections. So 3 a day. And when I say 3 a day, I mean 5 a day. I'm just going to say 3 a day because there's this thing called the power of 3s. Connections and reconnections. And those are just reaching out. They can be, I'll break down a perfect power hour in a moment, but they can be really, they can be not about Beachbody at all. So I'll go over that in a second. So there's challenge group invites. There's coach opportunity invites. So there's lots of inviting. It can be icky, it can be not icky. Now I want to show you an icky invite that I got. yesterday. Are you ready? Okay, hold on a second. Let me see how quickly I can pull it up. Get out of this. And for the sake of this person's privacy, I blocked their name. And I just titled it Icky. So I get this yesterday. Hi, Ellen. Okay, wait, let me set this up. I don't know this person. If I know them, I don't know them well enough to know that I know them. So if I have ever met this person in real life, not enough to remember who they are. Don't recognize the name, don't recognize the face. I don't know this person. Hi, Ellen. I'm not sure if you've seen my recent posts. No. But I've joined Roden & Fields, and I'm so excited to share my business with you. The same doctors that created Proactiv, the #1 product for acne, have brought us this anti-aging skincare line. The amazing thing is, they have 4 different regimens that attack the most prominent skincare issues. I would love to talk with you more about our products if you're interested. As you know, with any business, I would love referrals, blah, 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 blah. If only this person, who I'm just naming Icky, would have said, hi, Ellen, how are you? How are your kids doing? It's been so long since we talked when I met you in your class 5 years ago, or whatever. Or I've never met you, but I follow you on Facebook. You know, how are you? How are you? No, it was just like, it was so spammy. So that's what we want to avoid doing. And that's not to say a script is wrong, because you can do a script right. You can do a script right when it comes from love and belief that our products or our opportunity is going to better someone's life. You can use a script and you can personalize it, and it needs to start with, hi, how are you? How are you? But you don't have to use a script. I'm just saying that they can be done. A lot of top coaches use them. You can use a voice memo function on your phone, which makes even a script that you might have thought about or pre-written seem personal. I mean, it is going to be personal. Okay, so I took the time to write out kind of my perfect power hour, and I want to share it with you. And if you guys want, I can type it up this week and put it in Team Play Hard. And it's very similar to Chris Bunker's Bite that Emily shared with us. That's going to be really consistent with what I have written down. So I wrote it down and I put some time frames next to 6 behaviors. You have an hour, roughly, for your power hour. 6 behaviors. So please take notes. I actually did the math, and this really takes between 45 minutes and an hour and 15 minutes, depending on you. Okay, power hour to perfection. Number 1, you're going to post on social media. And if you listened to the team call last week, your post should be emotional, novel, and memorable. Whether it's 3 to 5 times a day or not, you're consistent and it's good stuff. That's going to take 5 to 10 minutes. And maybe you're creating your 3 to 5 a day and you're Hootsuiteing them or whatever, but you're posting on social media. That's going to take 10 minutes a day. So number 1, post on social. That could include a YouTube video, a Twitter, a Instagram, Facebook, whatever. Number 2, 3 new conversations, connecting and reconnecting without talking about Beachbody. Hi, Sherry. So number 2, 3, and by 3 I mean 5, new conversations. You're connecting or you're reconnecting, and you're not talking about Beachbody. That's like that Icky post. Can you imagine if she just connected with me and didn't talk about Roden & Fields and just talked about, like, just connected? I would have a conversation with her, you know? And so that one's easy, right? That's easy. You're connecting or reconnecting. That's easy. You're not talking about Beachbody. You're not selling anything. That shouldn't be hard. Neither should the first one. Number 3, you're following up, which we call FU, If you're a new coach, that's what it means, F you, when we say F you. You F you on conversations in Messenger, in email, and in posts. You're following up with, you've already done, if you're doing this daily, you've got stuff to follow up on. If you're doing this daily, if you've done number 1 and number 2 every day in your power hour, you're posting. That means you have engagement, people commenting back. You're starting new conversations, connections, and reconnections, not about Beachbody. That means you have messages to reply to. So that's going to take 10 to 20 minutes of your day, of your power hour. F you. F you on conversations. I forgot to tell you number 2, the connecting and reconnecting should take about 10 to 15 minutes. Number 4, engage in your challenge groups. And engage with your challengers privately too. So for example, I post in Hammer and Chisel every single day. I make sure I comment, read, not just like, but comment and read everything everyone posts in there every day. And I post in there every day. Then I will go into my private messenger to one of the people that I invited into that group, because it's not all my customers. It's a lot of you guys' too. And I will say, I just did this last night. Even though I posted in the group, I privately messaged one of my challengers and said, Megan, I am so glad that you trusted me to do this challenge with me. How's it going for you? Even though I posted in the group, how's everybody doing? I wanted her to feel like she was special to me, because she is. And that's in this inviting umbrella. So number 4, engage in your challenge group. Do it publicly and do it behind the scenes privately so they feel super special. Number 5, add 3, and by 3 I mean 5, new people to your social every day. Add 3 new people. So maybe you get a friend request from someone that doesn't look creepy, you can accept it. That counts as adding 1. Maybe you met someone at the coffee stand and you connected with them on social. Maybe you got a new Instagram follower and you message them back and thank them for following. That counts as 3. So I want you adding to your social media networks every single day. If your social media is not on public, we need to have a conversation. Okay. Number 6. Wait, so far, can I just point out that all those things are easy? So far, can I just point out that not one of those things is salesy, spammy, or icky? You posted on social media something emotional, novel, and memorable. You started conversations that were not about Beachbody at all. You followed up on those conversations that were not about Beachbody at all. You engage in your challenge group. That's fun. You did it publicly and privately. You added new people to your social media. So far, easy, right? Here's the hard one. But it's not hard if you're consistently doing 1 through 5. The hard one is every day inviting people to consider the business opportunity and inviting people to consider joining your challenge group or your free clean eating group. Now that's more of a right hook. That's more of a hard sell. And that's where we get uncomfortable and want to go scrub toilets or get on Canva, and we don't want to do that one. We don't want to do that one. Because why? We're afraid people are going to think we don't care about them. We're afraid people are going to think that we just want their money. That's why we shirk away from that number 6. But if you're consistently doing 1 through 5, number 6 kind of happens a little bit naturally. Emily and I talked about this. It'll even sometimes happen where someone will message you and say, I'm interested in learning about what you're doing. Like, if you are consistently daily doing 1 through 5, number 6 shouldn't ever get to the icky level. It should not. If you're a new coach, you're putting it out there. You also inviting sometimes is that big wide net when you're inviting to a challenge group, a clean eating group, or the business opportunity. I do that all the time. And sometimes I do it privately, one-on-one kind of a thing, very personal. And every month, all the time. And I also do it publicly in an impersonal way. I'm sorry, it's impersonal when you post a graphic on Facebook saying, would you like to come to my webinar tonight? That's not very personal, but I do it, and it does, it does grab some people. And so we do wide inviting and we do private inviting, and those are more of the right hook. And we can't keep someone's destiny trapped in our mouth. So I'm about to close. At Super Saturday in Portland, Missy Reber said, 5 seconds of brave. I did my inviting last night, you guys. I invited 6 people, and it was the last one. It was the number 6. It's the hairy one. It's the hard one. It's the one that I'd rather go clean a toilet because I'm afraid they're going to think I don't care about them and I just want their money. I'm afraid of sounding like the icky person on Rona and Fields, and so I don't want to do it. And so I thought of this from Super Saturday. It's helping me, and I hope it helps you. Missy Reber, she said, 5 seconds of brave. 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. Push send. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go. Leave the voice recording. Once you start recording, you're in it. You're committed. You got to finish it. Those personal Facebook messages are great. 5 seconds of being brave. Okay. So, I want to say one more thing. We're going to get a million no's, right? We're going to get no's, and that's fine. This business is not for everybody. Do you want to know something that I thoroughly enjoy? And you guys are going to think I'm crazy. But you want to know something I thoroughly enjoy when someone tells me no? I thoroughly relish continuing to be interested in that person's life. So I made a connection, I reached out to someone in my past or whatever. I end up eventually presenting the business or inviting them to challenge group. They tell me no. That's my opportunity to show that I was not in it for just being the selfish, money-grubbing, whatever, MLM person. And I can continue, even though they've told me no, I can continue to be interested in their life. I mean, maybe they'll change their mind someday, maybe not, but it's like the right thing to do. It feels really right to me in the face of a no to continue to like all their posts on Facebook and comment all the time and show that, to show that. Okay, so I'm gonna wrap up with a couple of different things. A video, and then I'm going to do this in the wrong order because the last time I tried to play a video on Zoom, it didn't work, but I researched today how to do it, so I think it is going to work. But just in case it doesn't, I'm gonna wrap up and then close with the video. Tracy's son. Do you guys see Tracy's son? So how are you spending your time? And be honest. I honestly want you guys to answer that question. You don't have to do it out loud. How much of your time are you spending in phase 1, which is inviting? Because it should be 100% and 90% and 80% for you guys, depending on your rank. I want you to be aware of those things that you do that sparkle and distract you. Just be aware. Just like I'm aware that it's a compulsion to go clean my house. Be aware. Be aware so that you know yourself. You know what you do. And then don't let yourself do that thing until you've done your inviting. I'm going to clean the toilets, but I'm going to do it after I invite. Okay, and then what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about this information? Because Emily and I heard this information, and it felt like we got slapped in the face. It was like humbling, like, okay, we're doing it wrong. But we had to make a decision. Like, we're going to do something about it. We're going to change the way we spend our power hour, and we're going to teach our team to do the same way. So what are you going to do about it? You might be hearing this for the first time tonight. Okay, so we do have coaches that quit. I want you, and this is why the team call was entitled Good. I'm about to wrap up here. I'm going to finish with a short video. I want you to see the good in it. So if a coach quits, how do you see that as good? Because it feels like a punch to the gut. Maybe it's better for your team culture. Maybe you'll know who to better spend your time and energy with. What if you narrowly missed hitting Success Club, but you tried as hard as you could and you were totally disappointed? Where's the good in that? Where's the good in that? The good is in learning from it, setting new goals maybe to hit Success Club by earlier in the month. What if you drop rank and it feels like crap and you went from Emerald down to coach rank? or you went from diamond and you lost your rank. Where's the good in that? The good in that, I mean, look at Emily. Emily did it. She was diamond and dropped rank, and she's like, she's a better coach today because that happened. I'm totally putting words in her mouth, but I think that she would say that because once she got her diamond back, come hell or high water, I mean, she learned so much and she did things so differently. She was like, she'll never lose it again. I mean, never. Okay, I'm going to do this video. So I learned what I was doing wrong last time, I think. So screen share. Let's get rid of Icky Post. Oops. Stop share. I'm a professional. Share screen. I have to click this. That's what I didn't do. Okay. All right, you guys. Here we go.
Direct subordinates, one of my guys that worked for me. One of my direct subordinates, one of my guys that worked for me. He would call me up or pull me aside with some major problem, some issue that was going on. And he'd say, boss, we got this and that and the other thing. And I'd look at him and I'd say, good. And finally one day he was telling me about some issue that he was having, some problem. And he said, I already know what you're going to say. I said, well, what am I going to say? He said, you're going to say good. He said, that's what you always say. When something is wrong and going bad, you always just look at me and say good. And I said, well, yeah. When things are going bad, there's going to be some good that's going to come from it. Didn't get the new high-speed gear we wanted? Good. Didn't get promoted? Good. More time to get better. Oh, mission got canceled? Good. We can focus on another one. Didn't get funded. Didn't get the job you wanted. Got injured. Sprained my ankle. Got tapped out? Good. Got beat? Good. You learned. Unexpected problems? Good. We have the opportunity to figure out a solution. That's it. When things are going bad, don't get all bummed out, don't get startled, don't get frustrated. If you can say the word good, guess what? It means you're still alive. It means you're still breathing. And if you're still breathing, well then hell, you still got some fight left in you. So get up, dust off, reload, recalibrate, re-engage, and go out on the attack.
Could you guys hear that? Okay, good. So that's how I want to wrap. What is your recent good? In other words, what setback? What's your latest setback in your business? And I know like Leslie's brand new, she probably hasn't had a setback yet, but she's gonna get them. Yes, Emily, please.
I hurt my back doing hammer and chisel, and I loved it. Like, I was so excited to be lifting weights, and I'm out for a month. And I ordered the Ultimate Reset, and I'm going to do the Ultimate Reset. And I think in a lot of ways that is going to be better for my business than doing hammer and chisel was. So I'm seeing the good in it. I was not seeing the good in it a week ago, but so there's mine.
I actually thought about you today when I was preparing. It's always a brainstorm to think about what to talk about to you guys, and it might sound silly to you guys, but I always like pray and ask for inspiration if I'm leading the call. And it's funny because I thought about Emily's back when I was trying to ponder, but I didn't know she was doing the Ultimate Reset. But I thought about her and I thought, I wonder if she can see the good. Because she can't teach right now, and you know, it kind of sucks.
Yeah. So I'm seeing the good in that my nutrition hasn't been great, and I've heard it's life-changing from all sorts of people, and I've wanted to do it, and I kept thinking, when am I ever going to be able to do it? I teach all the time, I do all this stuff, and here's this opportunity like right in front of me. So I ordered it, it's on its way. So there's my good.
There's another good, and I told her this already a couple of days ago or something. There's another good. She is hurt. She is hurt. It's a problem. It sucks. In fact, she was on muscle relaxants last week at our team call. She was like, I'm like, is Emily okay? I didn't know.
I was
like, she seems really bored, but now I know why. But there's another good in it. And that is she has a home business that's providing really good income for her. And she can't go to work. She can't, her job is teaching Group X. You can't do that with a horrible back injury. And so she can't work. She's subbing everything out for a month. She can't teach for a month. And there's another good. There's a silver lining in that this company has given her a way to make money from home, and she's going to be fine.
I do have a good.
Let's hear it.
Okay, so I've been looking for a way to drop a day at my job because it's just a little too much for me for a lot of different reasons. And so I applied for a teaching position at Lynn Benton at the occupational therapy school that I graduated from. And I thought it was totally in like Flynn. And they turned me down because I didn't have 4 years experience or 3 years experience. I have 2 years experience. And I thought because I was in with the instructors, I would totally get this job. And they told me I have to wait another year. And then I started looking around and I decided I wanted to do something fun because I'm jealous about my core friends that have really fun jobs. And then I saw your post, Ellen, and then here I am. So I didn't get that job. And so this is my good.
Awesome. So
Yeah.
cool. Like, so cool. Like I'm choked up. Yeah, because you wouldn't have. I mean, if you would have gotten that job.
Oh yeah, if I would have gotten that job, I'd have been so busy. There's no way I would have even have. I mean, I've been a customer for years. I just didn't know that you could do this opportunity existed. But this is fun.
Leslie used to own a little jazzercise studio, you guys, and she misses the just fun. She misses loving work.
I miss my customers.
So I'm like, 20, fix them all up. 21 day, fix them all up.
Do it.
Anybody else, guys, or should we wrap? Connie, here, let me unmute you.
Okay.
Success Club points already.
And Julie, okay, anyway, in regard to a success after a example, I'll tell you it's been very hard for me to live in Crescent City. And I work for the Redwood National Park, which is really great, but I'm not as passionate about the Redwood National Park as I was working for the Forest Service Job Corps. Anyway, I talked to my superintendent today, and we've never really connected, and I'd really like to have someone as a mentor. But I started talking to him about Beachbody and the 5-day cleaning group we have, and how we have over 50 people in our group, which includes about 10 coaches. Anyway, he goes, wow, he goes, my wife and I think we want to join your group. And he said, in regard to National Park, he said, we have a health initiative for all employees. He goes, that's like a real great movement. And so here I'm taking a job that I really don't like doing, and he's actually encouraging me to gather people involved from the national park. And which I can't sell Beachbody at work, but if it happens, that's great. But I can sell the 5-day clean eating program, and it just made it really like a negative situation really positive today. In fact, I was telling Julie, I really don't like what I'm doing, and now this is awesome. Rock and roll, rock and roll. Okay. I can't hear you, Ellen. I think you're muted.
I was, sorry. You're already at Success Club 2 on the 1st of the month?
Michael is.
Michael
Yeah.
is?
What?
Yep. Michael, you're already on Success Club 2. And we have 2 potential coaches that we're going to potentially sign up by the end of the week.
That's great, you guys. Awesome. That's great. That's great.
That's like the most success we've had in 9 months.
That's so great. That's very cool. Sherry, how are you? You good? Julie, you guys? Everyone's squared away with, oh, yeah, now I can.
I'll say something. So when I started in the beginning of December, inviting was like the worst thing in the world. Like I seriously hated it. And I had no idea what to do. So I was like looking for all these scripts all over the internet, and they were like really terrible. It was like sappy and sickly, like, oh, you're so wonderful, buy stuff from me. It was terrible. And I hated it. And I was like, this is awful. But I kind of like partway through December, realized that it's an opportunity for the people that I talk to, but it's also more of an opportunity in some ways for me to talk to people that some of them I haven't talked to in years, but to just be like, oh, who am I going to say hi to today? It makes such a big difference. And most of the time I don't have to say anything, and they're like, what's that thing you're doing?
Right.
Did I get in that too? It's kind of nice.
Right. If we just make it about them, I like that. I love that. And it's just, hi, how are you? And yeah, then they typically like, what are you up to late? What are you doing these days? Or if they can't already tell. It's just really natural because they asked you. Like,
yeah, it's super fun too, because then I'm like, who am I going to talk to today? Ooh.
That's cool. Yeah, who am I going to talk to today? I read on Ashley Molsted's Life Power Hour that she makes it really she like randomizes it. Like she randomly picks people on her friends list. I mean, that's
a good idea.
Yeah. Sherry, how are you?
I'm doing good. Sweaty hair. I just got done teaching class.
How's your
So
inviting?
my good. What was that?
No, go ahead.
Oh, my good came from me actually being laid off at work. My hours went down in December, and then come January 1st, no job. Unemployment has been like $94 a week. So I went from $2,000 a month to doing my Beachbody and my Zumba and $400 a month. So I set my goal with January. I am moving to Emerald. I'm going to hit Success Club 10. I made Success Club 8, the closest I've ever been in like 7 months, but I made it to Emerald. And I've got more people lined up just to be able to hit the ground running. I put myself out there. I held a shake and share. I've done demos. It's like, hey, peeps, check out my Shakeology cup. Guess what this good stuff is? And it's just been going. So I turned my job loss into my business opportunity, my low point, and I'm going back to school in spring. So that's a whole lot more people I can be sharing with every day.
Wow.
So that's my good. I took my low point and turned it around.
So you guys, Sherry is she is Emerald qualified. We just I haven't announced it in the team until Thursday when it's like
I know I gotta wait.
But yeah, so let's celebrate her big time when Thursday rolls around. Carolyn, Tracy, you guys good? Everybody good? Everybody's rocking Team Cup? All right. Okay, guys. Let's sign off. It was a great call. Thank you for sharing your hearts. And I love Chris Bunker's Bite. It's great. Okay, power hours. And I'll see you guys on the team page. Bye.
Bye.